Imagine you're a hunter-gatherer living around 10,000 years ago. You've spent the whole day walking under the sun, searching for food. Eventually, you come across a tree loaded with ripe fruit. Some of the fruits have fallen to the ground. They've been sitting there for days. Hungry, you eat them. A few minutes later, something strange happens. You feel lighter, more relaxed. The worries of survival seem less important. Your fellow tribe members suddenly seem funnier than usual. You laugh more. You talk more. You feel good. Without realizing it, you may have just become one of the first humans to get drunk. Long before humans invented writing, agriculture, or even cities, nature had already invented alcohol. And ever since then, our relationship with alcohol has been one of the longest and most complicated love stories in human history. Today, billions of people drink alcohol. Entire industries are built around it. Some people celebrate with it, some relax with it, and some unfortunately become trapped by it. But here's the fascinating question. Why do humans like alcohol so much? Why do some people get addicted to it? What exactly does it do inside our bodies that makes us willingly consume a substance that can make us stumble, slur our words, and wake up feeling like we've been hit by a truck? To answer that, we need to journey deep inside the human brain. Alcohol isn't actually a human invention. The process that creates alcohol is called fermentation. Tiny organisms called yeast eat sugar and produce alcohol as a waste product. This happens naturally wherever sugary fruits sit around long enough. Scientists have observed elephants, monkeys, birds, and even insects intentionally eating fermented fruit. In other words, getting drunk isn't exclusively human. Nature has been running this experiment for millions of years. Our ancestors probably discovered alcohol accidentally. But once they figured out how to create it deliberately, everything changed. Some archaeologists even suggest that the desire to produce may have helped encourage the development of agriculture itself. Think about that. The thing that helped build civilization may not have been bread. It might have been beer. Now, before you judge ancient humans, remember something important. The world they lived in was incredibly stressful. Predators, disease, starvation, constant uncertainty. Any substance that temporarily reduced fear and anxiety would have been incredibly attractive. And that's exactly what alcohol does. When you take your first sip of alcohol, it travels down into your stomach and quickly enters your bloodstream. Unlike many substances, alcohol can easily cross the blood-brain barrier. That means it gains direct access to the command center of your body. And that's where the real magic, or chaos, begins. Inside your brain are billions of neurons communicating through chemical signals. One important chemical system involves something called GABA. Think of GABA as your brain's brake pedal. It slows down neural activity and helps you feel calm. Alcohol boosts the effects of GABA. As a result, brain activity slows down. Anxiety decreases. Tension melts away. That awkward voice in your head constantly worrying about what other people think suddenly becomes quieter. For many people, this feels wonderful. And that's one reason alcohol is so popular. But alcohol doesn't stop there. It also affects another chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical. Whenever you do something beneficial for survival, eating food, achieving a goal, socializing, dopamine gives you a little reward signal. Alcohol triggers dopamine release too. Your brain interprets this as, hey, whatever we just did, that was important. Let's do it again. And now you can see the trap forming. Alcohol reduces stress. Alcohol increases pleasure. Your brain loves both of those things. From an evolutionary perspective, this combination is incredibly powerful. But here's where things get interesting. The feeling of drunkenness isn't actually your brain working better, but your brain working worse. Alcohol starts shutting down parts of the brain in a specific order. One of the first areas affected is the prefrontal cortex. This is the part responsible for judgment, decision-making, self-control, and critical thinking. In simple terms, it's the adult in your head. As alcohol suppresses this region, people become less inhibited. They take more risks. They say things they normally wouldn't. Sometimes this leads to funny stories. Sometimes it leads to decisions that become lifelong regrets. The famous phrase, drunk courage, isn't courage at all. It's simply reduced fear combined with impaired judgment. As drinking continues, alcohol begins affecting movement and coordination. That's because it interferes with the cerebellum, the brain region responsible for balance and motor control. This is why drunk people stumble, spill drinks, and occasionally attempt dance moves that should never have existed. If alcohol levels rise even further, memory formation starts breaking down. This creates what we call a blackout. Interestingly, during a blackout, a person may still be walking, talking, and interacting, but the brain fails to store those experiences properly. The next morning, entire sections of the night simply don't exist in memory. It's like your brain forgot to hit the save button. Now here's a strange question. If alcohol impairs our thinking, coordination, and memory, why didn't evolution teach us to avoid it? The answer is surprisingly clever. For most of human history, alcohol was relatively rare and weak. Our ancestors weren't drinking ultra-strong modern spirits. They mostly encountered naturally fermented fruits or low-alcohol beverages. As a result, evolution had little reason to develop strong avoidance mechanisms. In fact, humans evolved something different. We evolved enzymes specifically designed to break down alcohol. One important enzyme is alcohol dehydrogenases. Its job is to convert alcohol into other compounds that the body can eventually eliminate. Some populations evolved versions of this enzyme that process alcohol more efficiently than others. That's why alcohol tolerance varies dramatically between individuals and populations. But no matter how efficient your enzymes are, alcohol remains a toxin. That's an important fact people often forget. Your liver treats alcohol like a dangerous chemical, because that's exactly what it is. No. Every sip triggers a biological cleanup operation. The liver works overtime to neutralize and remove it. When too much alcohol accumulates inside the body struggles to keep up. That's when problems begin. And now we arrive at one of humanity's least favorite experiences, the hangover. You wake up. Your head feels like someone replaced your brain with a brick. Your mouth is dry enough to qualify as a desert. Your stomach is staging a rebellion. Why? Partly because alcohol dehydrates you. It suppresses vasopressin hormone that helps your body retain water, so you urinate more frequently and lose fluids. Alcohol also disrupts sleep quality, irritates the stomach, and produces toxic byproducts during metabolism. In short, your body spends the night fighting a chemical invasion. The hangover is simply the morning battle report. Yet despite all this, humans keep drinking. Why? Because alcohol interacts with something even more powerful than biology. Culture. For thousands of years, alcohol has been woven into celebrations, rituals, friendships, religions, and social gatherings. Birthdays, weddings, festivals, victories. Many societies associate alcohol with bonding and connection. Humans are social creatures. Sometimes people aren't drinking because they enjoy the taste. They're drinking because they enjoy the experience surrounding it. The conversations, the laughter, the sense of belonging. In many cases, alcohol acts as a social lubricant. It lowers barriers and encourages interaction. Of course, this comes with risks. The same substance that can temporarily reduce anxiety can also contribute to addiction. And addiction reveals one of alcohol's most dangerous tricks. Over time, the brain adapts. The same amount of alcohol produces less effect. This is called tolerance. To achieve the same feeling, people consume more. Eventually, the brain begins expecting alcohol's presence. What started as an occasional pleasure can slowly become a biological need. This is why alcohol addiction is one of the most challenging forms of dependency to overcome. So, why do humans like alcohol? Because it speaks to some of the oldest systems in our brains. It reduces fear, increases feelings of reward, encourages social bonding, temporarily quiets anxiety, and for a short time, it changes how we experience the world. But alcohol is also a reminder that not everything our brains enjoy is necessarily good for us. Evolution designed our brains to seek rewards, not perfect health. Sometimes those goals align, sometimes they don't. And perhaps that's the real story of alcohol. Not perfect health. A naturally occurring chemical discovered by our ancestors thousands of years ago, capable of making us feel happier, braver, and more connected, while simultaneously making us less coordinated, less rational, and occasionally convinced that singing loudly in public is an excellent idea. Humanity's relationship with alcohol is neither entirely good nor entirely bad. It's simply another chapter in the strange story of a species that constantly searches for ways to change how it feels. And maybe the most fascinating part is this: the substance that helped shape civilizations, inspire celebrations, and fill countless history books started with a piece of fruit left on the ground for too long. Isn't it a fascinating journey and fill countless history books? If you could travel back in time and offer a prehistoric human one modern drink, what would it be? Please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support. Thanks for watching.